We have all been there. You're headed somewhere in the morning and maybe you're running behind, or maybe you're not paying very close attention to the street signs, and the speed on your speedometer starts to creep up a little bit past those appropriate miles per hour. Now, there are a couple ways in Greeley that we address that issue. Some of that is with infrastructure, some of it is through education, and when necessary, through enforcement. So I am here today with Commander Mike Heck to talk about one of the ways that we are keeping speeding under control in Greeley with a new pilot program. Now, Commander Heck, tell me about this pilot program. What is it and how does it work?
Thank you. The pilot program was approved by the City Council. I started on it about 3 years ago with some presentations and some research, and Council approved the pilot program to go for 5 years. So we contracted with a vendor called Vera Mobility, where we obtained radar vans such as the one that's behind us.
Okay, and how does it work? What do these vans do exactly?
They have technology inside of them to where if it captures a speeder, it will take a video, a 6-second video, along with a still photo of the vehicle coming and going, along with a still photo of the person operating the vehicle. At that point, it has the internal components to calibrate the speed of the vehicle, and with Vera Mobility sending out the citations to the registered owner's address.
Got it. Okay. And so you mentioned this is backed by council. This is something we've heard a lot about from residents as well, too, right?
It certainly is. We always say this. It's like a broken record. People in the city of Greeley are not worried about their houses being broken into. They're not worried about major crimes being occurred against them. They're worried about traffic safety in the city. Weekly, I get complaints, I get emails, I get phone calls about what are you doing about this area? What are you doing about the noisy vehicles, the speeding vehicles, about traffic safety in my area? And this is just a force multiplier that we're going to be able to use to be able to free up officers and put these out, and hopefully a way to it curbs people's driving behavior to where they think these vans are all over the city, so they slow down, making the roads safer.
Perfect. Okay. I want to talk about that a little bit more. You mentioned freeing up officers' time. Why not just hire more officers? Why go with the technology solution?
Well, there's a couple ways I can answer that. One is it practical to put an officer in a residential area where only 15 or 20 cars pass in an hour's time and you might get one speeder? Should they be doing other things? It depends, sometimes yes, sometimes no. So it frees up officers to go out and be more visible in more highly dense areas or higher speeding areas or volume areas for vehicles. So it frees up officers in that way. Also, it allows these vans to be placed in residential areas that they can sit there for quite some time. And it does two things in that residential area. One, it tells everybody that these vans are going to be there and safety is a concern, and it allows for that enforcement piece of it.
Wonderful. Okay, tell me a little bit about sort of the parameters of the program. If I'm driving 36 and a 35, is that going to get me a ticket? Are there warnings? How does it work in that regard?
It's broken down into several stages. First is the 30-day warning stage. So for the next 30 days until June 15th, you will not be getting a ticket. You'll be getting a warning mailed if you were captured as a violator for speeding. So after the 30-day warning period, we have a couple different ways to break it down. Traditionally, an officer can write a ticket for certain stages of speeding, such as 1 to 5 over, 5 to 9 over, 10 to 19 over, and so on. Well, the vans are designed through this Senate Bill 23-200 to where we don't have those broken down in the same way. If you're going anywhere under 25 miles an hour in a residential area or a normal roadway, you can get a $40 citation. If you're in a school zone or a construction zone, that can double up to $80. If you're going 25 or over, that fine goes up to $200. Also, if somebody's going 25 or over, we have the option to assign that to an officer to go identify the driver and issue that driver a citation for that charge, which would be a lot more than $80. And it would affect their driver's license because it would have points associated with it.
So there are no points associated with it when we use the vans?
If you get a citation mailed to you in your mailbox, it's no points associated. It's strictly a fine. The law is pretty specific, says we cannot hold people's license over their head. We cannot boot their car. We cannot hold their registration to prevent them from registering it. The only thing we can do is if they don't pay their fine, we can send them to collections, which is part of the process that we're going to follow. If somebody doesn't pay their fine, they're going to be sent to collections. And I've seen some posts on social media like, don't pay your fine. There's nothing they can do to you. Well, that's not the case. We will do something to you by sending you to collections and trying to collect the fine that way, and it could go against your credit.
Great. So that's good to know. This isn't something where it's going to impact your insurance, but it is going to impact your bottom line. And the best thing you can do is drive safely around Greeley, and then it's a non-issue. Okay, so last question. I know folks are curious, how is this program funded? Or not how is it funded? How are we going to use the funds once we have them from these collections?
Great question, because I see a lot of posts also about like, this is a money grab, this is another tax, this is just more money out of our pocket. Well, our goal is to put ourselves out of business. We want it to where there's no speeding in Greeley. Now, is that realistic? Probably not. So, but hopefully we do put ourselves out of business. So the funds through our city ordinance, that it is written in ordinance that the funds collected from any violations will go to support the radar program itself, which is to pay our vendor for the vans. It will pay for the technicians to be running the vans. And then any money made after that goes to a fund for traffic calming that our public works oversees. That traffic calming are projects such as additional roadway signage, speed humps, raised crosswalks, roadway designs, anything that you can think of to mitigate traffic concerns. Those funds will go directly to them to curb that and to make our roadways safer.
Wonderful. Thank you, Commander Heck. Now, that I think is a really great transition to talk about how enforcement is just one piece of the puzzle. Ideally, like he said, we want to put ourselves out of business. We want the infrastructure in place that keeps people safe and making safe choices from the jump. One of the ways we're doing that is with the Vision Zero Safety Action Plan. You can learn more about how we're making safe streets in Greeley at speakupgreeley.com.